Yo everyone, this, let's take the mala, we're good. Start the class with focusing inside, being happy of the wisdom. Tilt this just a tad. I'm never going to ask you to remember all the seals, even I don't remember them. You can follow on your sheets, the book or the PDF. Om Vajrabhadrahumpa, Om Vajrabhadrahumpa, Om Vajrabhadrahumpa. Usually the mudra is on the leg. I show it here so you can see it on camera, okay? So pearl, bowl, but it doesn't really matter. As long as there's a difference, we're good. Jalarora Manaira Humpa, Om Jalarora Manaira Humpa, Om Jalarora Manaira Humpa. Om Jala Jala Vajra Humpa, Om Jala Jala Vajra Humpa, Om Jala Jala Vajra Humpa. And today's class. Welcome back everyone. I have updated the PDF, which is pretty much the same. Shivani insisted that we put it on the Mahajaya logo, which was a good idea. And we have now the Spanish version. So to get the PDF, you don't have to get it now, but if you still don't have it at the end of class, it's in the first post at the top of my page. If you see more to see the entire post, there's a place where you can go and download these files, Spanish or English. All right, we got our connections up. We're happy. We're focusing inside. It's a beautiful day for me. It was a shit day yesterday with just a lot of beautiful moments. When, I'll use this for class, of course. When we have one event that goes wrong in a day, it produces emotions. It reveals potentials to us, insecurities, control, anger, disappointments. Because of that, we forget anything else. So, like I said, it was a shit day yesterday because of one thing. A shit day with lots of beautiful moments. So it's all about being able to stay focused globally on a bit of everything. Okay? Whatever that means for you. Good. So far, every seal of the MahaKaruna process had traps. Interpretation traps on what it means. Opportunities to deny the actual wisdom instead of applying it. Okay. So we're going to review again the fourth seal with the right hand, which is the active hand. We're going to review and we're going to mention the possible traps just to make sure you do it correctly. Okay. In the document, you will read the literal English translation. Demon-based pain and spirits, be gone. Wow. That's like 16 interpretation mistakes and only 7 words. Just kidding. Let's go over the first concept, Dasadaja. Demon-based or demon-born. they interpret it that way. Okay. If you go thousands of years back when these mantras were written, whatever is a negative energy was called demon, but not in the anthropomorphic sense, not in the way that there's an actual entity. Demonic meant very negative, any kind of pain, any kind of suffering. Okay. Some of you know the word Rakshasa, which is the literal demon as an anthropomorphic entity, like a demon of the mythology of Hinduism and Christianity. So Dasa and Rakshasa are not the same word, but they both can mean demon in different contexts. Okay. So if we would want to mention something born out of a demon, we would use the words Rakshasa Daja, which means a demon that gave birth to something, or another demon. But now it's Dasa Daja, okay, which means what originates from evil. Now then, what is evil? It's extremely large. So we must not fall in the trap of values and beliefs. It is important to be the owner of your own mind in order to reach enlightenment or happiness. So let's not go into the belief of actual demons. Let's remember it means negativity in the feelings, in a moral sense. In a country, those who are in political power see anyone revolting as evil and see the law as good. Those who are revolting see freedom as good and the law as evil. So, two parties in politics that will say we are good, the other's evil. I do not endorse revolution, by the way. I just took that as an example. This kind of mentality about good and evil is flawed. This is not the evil, this is not the dasa that we're talking about. In Dasa Daja, we're not talking about this kind of misunderstanding of good and evil. Good and evil is about your inner motivations. Greed, hatred, ignorance, three poisons are the dasa that we're talking about. Okay? We're talking about the roots of arrogance in a human being. So it has nothing to do with your beliefs or outside values. And it doesn't mean anything for politics or for your actual struggles as humans. I'm lucky to live in a world without revolt, and it's awesome. The law is great, so we respect it. I just want to make sure that my grammar is correct. Yes, for the next two words. Dasa Daja. Oh yeah, before I go to the next words, I have to tell you something cool. In the mantra of compassion, Om Mani Padme Hum, we want to focus on the experience of Mani Padme. We wrote those words so you could pay attention to them. In the mantra of peace, we write the word Shanti so that you would pay attention to the word Shanti, but also to its concept, philosophy, and how it feels, peace. Okay. In the basic earth mantra, Prithvi-dhatu, we write the nature of earth so that you would embrace it and pay attention to it. Okay. Therefore, in this mantra, if we start with Dasa Daja, we want you to pay attention to it. You who have experience in emotional integration and in personal growth, you understand that it is by paying attention and feeling your suffering that it will dissolve. Duvini du Devataya, okay, the next two words. Duvini, get rid of pain. Dudevata, get rid of, it's one of the words for suffering, okay? And ya is just a link with the Dasa Daja, it's just grammar, okay? So, Duvini Dudevataya, get rid of pain and suffering, is a mistranslation again, but it's the closest that the dictionary has. When you say you want to get rid of something, you do an intentional denial. Oh, get rid of that. You force that away. If you want to get rid of an object, you throw it in the trash, you give it to someone, you find a way to push it away, okay? When you take a pill, for a medical pill as a painkiller, you just want the pain to go away, okay? So these are intentional denials, which is like, I just want that to cease to exist, okay? So, thank you Shivagam for writing it. In this concept, Duvini du Devataya, get rid of pain, get rid of suffering. You as a human, with the word getting rid of, would be tempted to deny and just push away. Ah, get rid of it. I don't want to see it. And this is the mistake. The single syllable do is too short to mean get rid of. It's a bija that means it disappears. It goes away. Maybe it means dissolve. Maybe it means it never existed anyway. So, Duvini and Dudevataya is not the getting rid of something in an action of pushing away. It is the dissolving, the disappearing, the end of pain and suffering. If we write the word Dasa Daja in a mantra, it's not for you to say, all this energy, get rid of it and deny its existence, just push it away. This would be the improper attitude of the mantra. The same way that the third seal, Jala Jala Vajra, was go deep inside and destroy illusion through Visantara, through embracing everything inside. In this case, pay attention to Dasa Daja. If we put the word in the mantra, it's because we want you to be aware of what rises from evil inside. What rises from your potentials, basically. Okay? Dasa in dictionary does not mean a demon, one unity. It means demonic in nature, type of energy. Okay? But if we analyze the letters Da and Sa, a powerful form, it just means a potential. Okay? Dasa means your hardened potentials inside, just these balls of energy inside. So the pain and the suffering that rises from your potentials, by paying attention to them, they will dissolve. Basically, that's the mantra that says do emotional integration. It's a mantra that says do personal growth. The hardened potential based suffering and pain disappears. That's the interpretation of the entire mantra. And yeah, 20 minutes on that. That's good. 15 minutes is good. My clock here is too fast, so I forget that it has a few minutes too much after every week, every 2 weeks. I just need to buy another clock. The mudra. Okay, this is my right hand. I don't know how you see it in the video, but this is my right hand, mano derecha. Okay, so the index is not on the tip, it's on the side. Not the tip, but the side. Okay, right here. So the index, the right finger of power, is pointing to the moon of the hand. The moon of the hand is this circular part, base of the thumb. Thumb is grounding. Finger index is point power. So if you have it here, you are grounding and you're pointing the base. Okay, so that's go deep inside. That's the mudra of go deep inside. That's what it means. So now even the mudra, yeah, and close your fingers. Some of you are making this because you just paid attention to the index and thumb. The fingers are inside. Okay, so everything goes inside. This is the mudra of go deep inside. The wisdom goes deep inside, the feelings go deep inside, the thoughts go deep inside. Everything focuses deep inside. That's the mudra of focusing deep inside. Okay. Focus deep inside to the potentials you have. And the more you focus on your potentials, the more the pain and the suffering, the physical pain and the emotional suffering born from it dissolves. Practicing this seal will amplify the effects of your personal growth. What do they say is a benefit? Just curious. I want to check. In the old Chinese text, they say it was for conquering all demons, monsters, ghosts, spirits, and negative energies. Yeah, so basically if you believe in ghosts and demons flying around as individual entities, like in the case of haunted houses and possessions, they would think that way. You know, simply because if you go back in historical time, there was a lot of mythology about these things. And if a teacher says, this is to get rid of your inner demons, I'm pretty certain, even though the mudra says, go deep inside and find your, do your work. The people would say, oh, so that's to get rid of demons. So I'm going to do this as a form of exorcism. And it gets confused. Of course, the more personal growth you have done, the more supernatural phenomena you can conquer or dominate. So, yeah, okay, maybe alongside effect, from afar. But these demons and these ghosts, they're inside you. It's your potential. It's just good personal growth. Okay. It is early. Usually we give 30 minutes, 40 minutes of class and do a mala. But now I would like to do the mala now. Let's review the mantra a few times so we can say it correctly. I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna just say it slow. Om Dasa Daja Duvini Dudevataya Hompa. The home part is to feel it with certainty, like any other time we apply. Or you just get your head into it now and your jaw in pronouncing the words. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Hompa. Okay. Keep the mudra. Om dasa daja tu vini du devataya Om Pa. Because when we do the mala, we tend to accelerate Om dasa daja tu vini du devataya Om Pa, Om dasa daja tu vini. And then for the new people, it's like, what the hell are they saying? I can't say these words. So we have to keep it cool. Also, when we do a mantra charge, 9 malas per day for 12 days, we want to recite it as fast as possible to shorten our practice to 20 minutes instead of 2 hours. But when we do only 1 mala as a practice, just the mala of experiencing it, we don't want to speed it. We don't want to recite it fast. We want to just say it gently. You take your mala, Om dasa daja duvini du devataya Om Pa. The word du devataya, we always accelerate it. It's just a natural way of speaking. You'll also say it fast once you are comfortable with the word. But at first, it's the longest word of the mantra, du devataya. So it can be confusing. Okay? Just be careful when you recite it super slow. You'll tend to accelerate the last word by reflex once you're comfortable. And that's okay. Om dasa daja tu vini du devataya Om. Just kidding. And the concept is going deep inside, feeling, embracing. The Hom Pat means feel it with certainty. Causes the dissolution. And yes, it disappears, so you can say you eventually get rid of the pain and the suffering. Okay. This practice is wonderful because it accelerates the effect of your consciousness on your potentials. When you do a lot of emotional integration, you realize there's some kind of cloud of energy that just goes away once the potential is dissolved. Like the energy residue feels like it's going out. Those who feel energies, of course. Not everyone feels that. This mantra accelerates this phenomenon. It helps the dissolution of potentials. Now, we have to be careful with this in the sense that when you're conscious in emotion, it will dissolve. If you only do this, you will miss the opportunity to identify your ego and grow from your experience. Learn from your mistakes or from your naivety of life. If all you do is focus on potentials to dissolve them, it will work. But you won't get the wisdom until you understand how you act as an ego. So just remember that. It's wonderful to use a mantra like this. The previous step, seal number 3, the Vajra bowl, is telling you to embrace everything inside and let your consciousness fall, go deep inside. It is encouraging you to do this practice. Seal number 4 focuses on the phenomena of dissolution of pain and suffering when you pay attention to what is born of evil inside. Okay. Later there will be opportunities to say you still have to look at your ego and grow from that. But right now we're step by step doing mechanics of the energy process that happens when you do personal growth. Good. Take your mala with the left hand. 2 weeks ago, Shivagam laughed, exploded in laughter. He said, "This is the first mala ever in my life that I've done with my left hand." He just said, like, with the millions of malas he's done, that was the first time he ever did it with his left hand. That was funny. It was not the case for me because I've done this practice a long time ago also. But I imagine it's the case for you too, which is kind of entertaining, you know. how comfortable we get of doing things in a certain way, and then for some reason it changes, and then it's funny, it's entertaining. All right, the mudra of going deep inside. How do they call it? The precious glaive. Oh, because once you're like this, you can imagine that you're holding a sword that is going out. That's just that's not from the Hindu origin. That's the Chinese that gave names to these mudras according to their theatrical style. The Chinese are very in opera and theater, and they would put objects in your hands. The Hindu, the Buddhist Hindu, and the Hindu, when they make a mudra, they just show you the mudra. Do this mudra. Okay, and they don't tell you to hold an object. They just say, this is the mudra. It has an effect. Okay, so then they gave it another name, but these names were lost in time. So the image should not be that critical. It's useful, it's fun. Also, if you visualize a sword, the power liberated from your potentials will nourish the actual sword, if you want to imagine it. Yeah, because what's in your mind, when you liberate consciousness, nourishes whatever, it makes it happen. You manifest the next thing that you have in mind when you have more released power. But don't worry, it's more about the mudra than the objects in the book. Okay? We're good? One more review of the word. Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya. Okay? Let's start. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Shaduvini Dudevataya Humpa. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Daja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Dudevataya Humpa. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Taya Humpa. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Daja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Om Dasadaja 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 Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Daja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Om Dasadaja Duvini Dudevataya Humpa. Duvini du Devataya Hom Pat. Om Dasadaja Duvini du Devataya Hom Pat. Om Dasadaja Duvini du Devataya Hom Pat. Om Dasadaja Duvini du Devataya Hom Pat. Duvini du Devataya Hom Pat. Om Dasadaja Duvini du Devataya Hom Pat. Om Dasadaja Duvini du Devataya Hom Pat. Om Pat. Om Dasadaja Duvini du Devataya Hom 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 Pat. Vini du Devataya Hom Pat. Om Dasadaja Duvini 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 du Devataya Hom Pat. Vini du Devataya Hom Pat. Om Dasadaja Duvini 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 du Devataya Hom Pat. Duvini du Devataya Hom Pat. Om Dasadaja 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 Duvini du Devataya Hom Pat. Duvini du Devataya Hom Pat. Om Dasadaja 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 Duvini du Devataya Hom Pat. Dasadaja Duvini du Devataya Hom Pat. Om Dasadaja Duvini du Devataya Hom Pat. Om Dasadaja Duvini du Devataya Hom Pat. Dasadaja Duvini du Devataya Hom Pat. Om Dasadaja Duvini du Devataya Hom Pat. Om Dasadaja Duvini du Devataya Hom Pat. Om Dasadaja Duvini du Devataya Hom Pat. Daja Duvini du Devataya Hom Pat. Om Dasadaja Duvini du Devataya Hom Pat. Om Dasadaja Duvini du Devataya Hom Pat. Om Dasadaja Duvini du Devataya Hom Pat. Dasadaja Duvini du Devataya Hom Pat. Om Dasadaja Duvini du Devataya Hom Pat. The feelings is it's easier to concentrate on what you're feeling. It's easier to feel the potentials. It's easier to feel the liberation. Just doing the practice, you can feel that there's something lighter inside you. Because it naturally brought your consciousness in and naturally dissolved some of those potentials, the weakest, so the smallest, the little grains of suffering in your subconscious, so you don't have precise identification. To dissolve the big potentials inside, you'll have to work on it. But maybe you realize there's something lighter, or there's an energy liberated that is in your abdomen, that is inside. Okay? Good. It is the fourth seal. The 4 words of the mantra, Dasadaja, Duvini, Dudevataya. The 4 words without the Om and the Hom Pat, which is the prefix and suffix. The 4 main words start with the letter D, which is the 4th letter. Okay. It is interesting, at least, to realize that. I will let the Kabbalists and those who who trip numerology do their work on that. Just try to feel it. It's more like a doorway than a form. Though D can be form and it can be also door. It's anything structured that you can go through. So this facilitates the passage, the going through. So if you're still seeing getting rid of pain as something going away, well, it's not getting rid, but that something can go in or out is facilitated by the influence of the number 4 and the letter D. Okay? So that was just a little snippet for the Kabbalists of you who love to analyze these details. It's just fun. Om dasa daja duvini du devataya hompa. Sometimes I'm doing a mala and my eyes are not on the camera, so you can see this is when I fix the camera, and this is when I see all the heads above and the little number with how much viewers there is. I look at the 50 with an eye, so my eyes see mine going there instead of the camera. Okay, that's because I'm focusing on the class and the participants, and it facilitates the transmigration. Thanks, Raven. And when I look at you, I'm starting to think of what I'm going to talk about. Like, hey, yeah, we got to tell them about the 4Ds, and it's the 4th seal. And because of that, I stuttered a few times. I missed sometimes a syllable. Let's try to think only about the practice when we do a practice. But even you'll have to admit, sometimes your mind is thinking about your day or the following day or an important event. We are human. Yeah. If I look at you and I start to think, I have to tell this, and then I miss one, and you've just seen it like 15 times in that mala. I missed one vowel, one syllable. Don't be hard on yourself when you do that. Sometimes the words are new. You're not used to say them. In my case, my mind was on everything I want to tell you, which is a distraction. So at one point, say, hey, I look down, be in the practice, do the practice, and then be with them. And I went back and to saying that. So the seals are wonderful. We're enjoying this teaching. Pretty cool. These seals really support all our experience. Anyway, just don't be hard on yourself when you miss a word. Just do your best. That's what I wanted to say. Okay, keep doing your best, and it'll just get better and better. All right. The seals themselves go in a series that, in today's very logical and Cartesian world, we would use a different approach to prepare you for personal growth, and then later you have the more supernatural seals and the more cool special effects mantras. Okay. Today, in a practice of personal growth, we would have shown you differently. But thousands of years ago, their approach was different. It was more intuitive and less Cartesian. Okay, so the first seal tells them to break the habit. Now, if you go back in India, when everyone was praying Lakshmi to get more wealth, and then that practice was imported in China through Buddhism, and the Nilakanta Sutra became the MahaKaruna Sutra, because it went from Hinduism to Buddhism that way. And in China, there's what we remember of Chinese of that time is the theatrical, but also the wealth. Like in every Chinese myth, there was this rich merchant, there was this emperor, this prince, okay? So the first seal says, let's take the worst poison that we have now, which is greed, and let's break that. Vajrabhadra. Just get rid of the illusion of acquisitions or wealth. Okay? And that was the most shocking revelation for these people at that time. So they start with their problems that they had at that time. Okay? And then the mantra of let that shit go. Okay? Jalarora manaira hompat. Keep your mind still as things happen. Don't get engaged in all the drama. Okay? So the second seal is the seal of, today we would say, let that shit go. Just seize control, basically. Let things happen. Be responsible, but don't be don't do OCD. Don't try to control everything. It's just going to hurt your mind. So get your mind of letting things happen. So this is their way of preparing someone for doing personal growth. The third seal was go deep inside. Let yourself fall deep inside and prepare for a shock to get rid of a lot of illusions. Okay? And the fourth seal is when you pay attention to your suffering, when you pay attention to your potentials inside, the pain, the physical pain, and the emotional suffering dissolves. Basically, this is how they did their process. So the seals are cool in the way that they're organized. And it's nice to see this is how they prepared someone. Step one, do this, and then do that. And then their mind and their emotional state were ready for more personal growth. The fifth one really doesn't look like personal growth, but it contributes to the challenges of their time. Is switching the mala to a different hand, similar to the shamanic practice of undoing, where we exercise the subconscious by doing something regularly in the opposite way. Okay, just to get rid of a habit. I understand your comment, Nick, or your question. It is accurate. It is a nice observation. But I won't say that it's a dramatic thing that you must do a mala with the opposed hand to get rid of the habit of doing the mala of the right hand, because that is so insignificant. What you should do is accept to eat food you've never tested before. Don't judge people who do things a different way than you. Try it, as long as it is a safe practice and a legal practice in your country. Try to do something different than you usually would. Okay? So this breaks the bad habits, if you want. If you're a night owl, like me, and you like to go to bed very late and wake up late, but maybe it's okay for you. But try sometimes to say, okay, I'm going to now, just for 2 weeks, wake up at 6 a.m. and go to bed early. Like for me would be to go to bed at 10, okay? And that changes something much deeper than how you do your spiritual practice. But I kind of enjoy the fact that Nick asked a question. Sometimes he has like these weird questions no one else would ask, but they're inspiring. It is true that it's good to change a bit your habits, those who are really set in stone. Dietary habits, also what you eat, like try new food. Of course, you should end up eating the food you like, but don't be fixed on it. And also a variety of food is good for the system. And doing a detox once in a while, it's good. It's part of those changes. You eat a certain amount of fat. At one point, you'll remove fat entirely, any type of fat, for just 1 week. and use a little infusion of tea or some kind of infusion that detox, and you'll see your mind and your body freak out for that week. Like, where's that bacon? But try it. Not if you're sick or too old to do changes, but even, I know people that are 80 years old and they still they still do try these things. Is there a significant thought to switching mala to a different hand? It's mild, okay? But the reason why we take the mala in the other hand is mainly to focus on the proper hand to do the mudra. And the mudra, in this case the right hand, is active. Then the mala is to count, okay? But let's say if we would not have mudras, to use the left hand, or use your unusual hand for you to switch when you do a mala to count, it will simply address a different part of the brain. Okay, and I would say, yeah, try it to play. The main thing about Om Mani Padme Hum is not if it is addressing your logical brain or your emotional brain, but it's the fact that you pay attention to being conscious to your feelings and develop compassion on your path. If you do the mala on the other hand, there's a little influence of what it triggers. The main influence is the practice itself, all that the mantra means, all the focus you have in your state of being. So the influence of switching hand is extremely mild. However, it's true. You should try it once. I mean, you're doing it in this practice of MahaKaruna, and it's good enough. It shows you, oh, okay, it's a different thing. Okay. That's pretty much actually. There was thing I said, hey, let's do the mala first, and then I'll keep talking about the other things I want to say, and then I realized it was too quick. You were not used with the words yet. So I ended up teaching everything I wanted before we did the mala. And then except the comments with the letter 4 and the dalet of the door of going through. So that was a nice practice. That was fun. The side effects of the first 3 seals could have been heavy. This is the first seal where I say the side effect is actually pleasant. It doesn't make you go crazy. It literally says, pay attention to your demons. So some resistance, let's go. Some of the, when you did the second seal, Jalaro Ramanaira, like just the flow while you're immobile and yet still in motion inside, and in your mind. And it was specifically a mantra for the state of mind, the intellect, and the mind as your all psyche. Thanks, Terry. And of course, anything that wants to stay in control in your mind just freaks out. In this 4th mudra, the thing that will freak out is your denials. You might have a little disgruntled part of your ego that says, but I don't wanna. I don't wanna do my work on myself. I don't wanna see my potentials. But since you are all seekers, most of you want to see your potentials. So you'll feel more the efficiency of the dissolution of the hardness, the Duvini Dudevataya. You'll see that more than the complaint that your ego has about doing personal growth. Because at the base, you would not be doing all this if you were not into personal growth. Those who freak out while doing this 4th seal is those who just want a pill. Like, do you have a product that will make me super powerful and immortal? Why not? I call them the X-Men of the New Age era. Those who just want to have a power because they're born with it, or some kind of mutation happened, without working. If you look at all the characters of the X-Men and the world of Marvel, all of them had an experiment done on them, or some kind of meteor fell from the sky, or like they fell in acid. There is one guy, Doctor Strange, who acquired his power through years of practice and hard work on himself. And I love when they show the movie, like, finally there's a guy in the superhero world that actually got it the real way, you know, which is pretty cool. And then he gets some supernatural power from a medallion, and you know, he just becomes another Marvel entity. But still, it's pretty cool, you know, to notice this major difference. You like the one about winning against any injustice. Oh, I'll do this, so you know, I will win in court any argument I have. Actually, the mantra is about getting rid of injustice inside you. Like, you have to cultivate your own integrity and get rid of your illusions about the world, and you know, like that. But some people just look at a Chinese text. Oh, that's the practice for this kind of problem. I'm just gonna do that. But like, I wanna kill demons. All right, cool. You know, they do this, but these people are just there for the power trip. They really don't want to see their demons inside. These are the people who freak out when they do a practice like that, because it's literally a practice that says, whether you like it or not, you're gonna end up doing personal growth and looking at your shit. But it's gonna be so much faster and efficient. So yeah, that's pretty much it. That's a nice class. I can't tell you everything I want to say about the whole system on the first day. So in every class, we speak of the mantra itself, the seal, and then I end up speaking more about this entire system, its origin, what's the purpose. So we're gonna end up talking about that like forever. Thank you for your time. Have a nice practice. It's just 1 mala a day and a bit of contemplation. It's super easy. And yeah, peace. See you next week, man.